We'll stand and say pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All righty. All right. At this point, we will open it up for any public comment on any of the agenda items that we have.
Done?
You want to look real quick, Tina?
What's that?
Were you just going to look real quick? Is that what you're doing? Okay. There'll be another point in the meeting where you can have public input, but we have two of them. All right. I will take a motion on the minutes from the regular meeting on March 2nd, please.
I move the council approves the regular minute meetings of March 2nd, 2026 as presented.
Do we have a second?
Second.
It's moved and seconded that we accept the minutes from the regular meeting on March 2nd. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Let's move on to, says the journal voucher included.
I'll move we accept the journal voucher as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded that we accept the journal voucher as presented. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we'll move on to the treasury report, and I trust everybody's went through the treasury report. Do we have a motion on the treasury report?
I'll move we accept treasurer's report as presented.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded that we accept the treasury report as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. All right, claims and payroll. We'll accept the same thing here.
I move that we accept the claims and payroll as presented.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded that we accept the claims and payroll as presented to the council. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, judge's report. I don't see the judge here, so I'll just have to do a little bit of reading. All right, so the judge's report, calls for service. Oh, this is police staff. That's like the judge's report. I guess it's,
Judges is in there somewhere.
oh, there we go. All right. I was gonna say, that doesn't make sense. Total number of new cases for the month, 48. Total number of pending cases, 29. Total number of disposed cases, 34. And total number of active warrants, 114. Funds paid to the town of Plains for March, $3,357.27. I guess that's all he has on it. All right. Then we will move on to the mayor's report, which I have in my little fingers right here. All right. We have discovered that the library has a radon problem. I don't know how much of that all you guys have heard or know about, but they have that little unit that they bought that somebody donated money for here about a month and a half ago or so. And before, so people could check out the radon detector, you know, if they want to check their radon levels. And so they decided when they opened up, let's go ahead and check it here. And they got some high numbers off of it. So we got Big Sky, whatever it is, from Thompson Falls to come down and actually test it out. And they had an average, I do believe it's 17, no, was it 12.6? I thought it was 17.6. This must have been a missing that here. It's 17.6 on their scale, which in a household where you're living, anything over 4 is high. They say it's done a little bit different with public buildings and businesses and such because you're not sleeping there. or staying there all the time, but still, it is more an issue for, say, the library, for those that are working there versus people that are just coming in and out. But, you know, if you, in the mines over by Helena, then you can get in there and you pay money to go in there to get high rate on, which seems a little crazy. Anyway, the company is looking to go in and mitigate that this Friday and Saturday. So it's gonna cost us $2,110 to get the system put in that's actually mainly focusing on the office area.
Does the county share any of those expenses with us?
I posed that question several times, and they didn't seem to think they did because it's our building. I said, well, it's your employees, but I didn't get more. Who knows, maybe in the future, but right now the big thing was just trying to get it mitigated. It's been hanging out there for a little bit, and finally just today I said, when do you plan on coming down? He says, I plan on this Friday and Saturday. I said, well, good. That'll make the librarians a little more at ease, and it'll take them a couple days to get that in there, and then we'll see what the levels do, and how much that affects the rest of the library itself. But the big thing is just impacting, basically, for the most part, where the librarians are. And when I talked to him, and I talked to somebody in Helena, they said the radon changes with the seasons, changes with weather patterns, changes with wind, it changes with a lot of things. But the big thing is if we can get that knocked down to an acceptable number and see where we're at. But it's pretty straightforward because it's a slab. No basement. Anyway, I'm looking forward to see what that turns out to be. Next thing is the pool and the leaky problem that's been having. I've been told that last year, up until the point they closed down, they were losing 13,000 gallons a day. Which, several bad things with that. Number one, it is highly chlorinated water for the pool. And so that costs more money. It's heated water, so that costs more money. But it's also going, you know, down and potentially into the aquifer. So we have to be very aware of what's happening with that pool, and it's just very spendy. We spent a lot of money on propane last year to keep that water heated. So the plan that I have is to get that pool kind of cleaned out and fill it up with regular water and try to find out where it's leaking at. And Joel thought possibly it could just be people that aren't used to functioning with that pool or running the pool, and there might be a valve or something like that that is just opened or closed or whatever. So we're hoping that it will be a fairly easy fix. We just don't know. Hopefully we're going to be getting that happening later this month because we want to start early, because we want to have that fixed, because once we get it taken care of, we're going to have to empty the pool
Start over.
and start over with highly chlorinated water and get it heated and ready for the season. So, ready for lifeguards to get in there. And
I have a question. When does the pool typically open?
usually it's like the first week in June, somewhere in there. It's after school gets out anyway. 6th, 7th, something like that, isn't it, Lyle?
Or the weekend after Plains Day, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
What was our deficit last year on the pool? Any idea?
We'd have to do some calculating, yeah, I'm not sure.
We lost a couple $1,000s in our budget from propane. I know that. I looked at that one. Oh, yeah, we did spend extra money on propane. And that's supposed to carry over for the spring heating of the water too. So we'd even be a lot further short in this fiscal year. So it'd be a good thing to get figured out because that's a lot of heated water going down.
Yeah.
But it gets down to a certain level and it stops. So I don't know. It's going to be a little interesting to try and figure that out. Okay, Fred Young Park Gazebo. That was also, my understanding, a problem child last year with the bathrooms. One side flushed, the other side didn't flush well. there was a hiccup with the water system on the outside, so the guys went and took care of that. Covering all this public work stuff, and you're sitting right there. I mean, you should be talking, but anyway, there'll be probably something for you later. Anyway, so the boys got over there and dug into that. Figured out why it wasn't flushing on the one side, and that it was not really situated to flush very well, because it just went straight down and went to a T, and things just don't move. But they spent like 2.5 days over there getting the bathrooms figured out, getting a new frost free on there, replacing some lines, and got things up and running. The plan for that, in my mind, is to eliminate that one bathroom and just have one big bathroom that is ADA accessible, because neither one of them are. And the one toilet's not really going to be a workable situation. So if we can take that one wall out, dividing the two, put in a bigger doorway, and get access into there, I think we'll be better off. Anyway, you guys can talk to me about that if you have a different opinion, whatever, at some other point on the agenda. But anyway, farmers market. Now, farmers market wanted to continue here at Fred Young Park, and I ended up redirecting them to the pool park. Between talking to those here and the police department, they've outgrown this park. There's not enough room for parking, there's not enough room for people. It's just becoming more of a hazard. The downside for them is that they don't like the fact that this is a block off the highway. This would be 3 blocks off the highway. The pluses are, talking to Bambi, are that, well, they've been wanting to get a couple of food trailers, and this will give them ample opportunity to add on. And when I talked to her on the phone, I said, the thing is that you're maxed out here, and if you don't have room to grow, you're not going to grow. And unfortunately, it's just not a good situation right here. You've outgrown the park. So they were also considering going over to the dentist office if they could get in there. And so I don't know what they've decided. At this point, I think the lady that kind of is in charge of that is still not necessarily happy. But I don't know how to fix that. I don't know how to make the park bigger and parking better, and I don't know. Anyway, BNSF. I know that we've been looking at for several years with the Burlington Northern to try and get that stretch down here on the other side of the park, where we could pick up ample parking. We could pick up a lot of things with that section. First, they informed me that it would be, to put in to get that would be a $1,700 non-refundable chunk of money, just for them to look at it and decide whether they wanted to lease it to us or not. You don't get it back, it just gets sucked into the vortex. So the last email I had that I got back to him, because I've been kind of going back and forth with him, not only the $1,700 non-refundable deposit, if we are successful, the lease would be $10,000 a year. And basically our plan was to do nothing more than plant grass, dog park, or whatever. I mean, it wasn't a money-making venture. And I, said, well, gee, we already have 3 other leases that I know of, plus we pay for the lines that go underneath the tracks. And he said, well, we know that. That's what, that's grandfathered in. New leases are now $10,000.
Are those other 3 leases we have, do they add up to 10,000?
No. Well, they add up to like
What was it like?
3,000 or 4,000.
I think it was around 3,700 or something.
3,700 maybe. I mean, it's a far cry from $10,000 for that strip down there.
Do they regulate what you do want?
No, not really. They just, I think on your application you have to put what you're going to do, but I don't think it really matters so much. It's still $10,000. So
was the parking idea specifically for more parking for the farmers market?
no, it's just that they used a little bit of that excuse, saying, well, we just tell people they can park down there. I said, well, if the railroad decides they don't want you to park there, what do you do?
I'm just curious.
Railroad doesn't necessarily like people parking on their property if you're not leasing it. It can turn into an issue, so we can't say, well, yeah, you can do the park, as long as you park down on railroad property and until you get kicked out, but that doesn't work out too well either. So it wasn't just planned for parking, it grows a lot of weeds. It needs to be smoothed out, gussied up a little bit, get some
It's nice.
water on it, and there was a group that was planning or would like to have planned to have a dog park there. At some part of it, clear at the end or something, but for $10,000 a year, I don't think it's probably in the town's best interest to even consider it. I mean, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you guys decide you have a different idea, you can let me know, but that was kind of my thought.
Maybe charge them.
Well, even
If they don't clean it up.
when I was mayor in 23, I talked to somebody in Texas there or email, and and I kind of remember the $1,700 thing, and I just said, well, we want to get that, we want to clean it up, we want to level it out, we want to get rid of the weeds because it's unsightly, it's a fire hazard. I said, well, you can go ahead and do that. Oh,
Without leasing it?
huh?
Without leasing it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, I think it'd be nice to let them know that's what we'd like to do, because it is a fire hazard. And it's ugly.
Well, it is a fire hazard.
And
but-
we just use it and let them complain. I mean, that's ridiculous, that cost for that.
2.5 years ago, they said we could just clean it up and, get rid of the weeds. But we do actually pay, what is it, like almost $600 a year for them to keep our leases green and nice and weed free. Serious. They charge us for that. Even though we're the ones that pay for it and do it.
Wow.
Isn't that funny?
I don't remember, but it did change significantly when Denny Washington sold to BNSF.
I'm not real positive because
Not
we
yet.
weren't trying to get that during Denny, were we? It was right at the changeover when we really started pushing for that.
I know we talked about it for a couple of years, but they haven't changed anything yet. Doesn't mean they won't.
Yeah, so it's hard to say what's gonna happen with the leases going forward.
So our lease on the Greenway, how long are we locked into that?
I'm not sure when it ends. It's just like a year-to-year thing. We just pay it every year.
And we also pay annually for the water pipes that go under the railroad.
Yeah,
No thought that they're gonna come back and charge us $10,000 for the next year on leasing the Greenway.
or Fred Young Park.
Supposedly we're grandfathered, but that
We'll see how far that goes. Because like I said, we have both Greenways there and Fred Young Park that are all leased from BNSF. As well as the lines going underneath the tracks.
There has been discussion with other mayors around, because this is obviously something that happens all through the state in small towns. Maybe political pressure would be the way to do it.
Would be the leverage maybe.
Hopefully down the
Because
road.
little towns in Montana, they don't seem to care much down in Texas what our situations are. I mean, small town Montana, you don't have a lot of extra money flowing around to kick out lots of money. And then the last thing I have on my mayor's report is that this is a surprising number. You guys will find it surprising. We pumped 2,348,000 gallons, and we sold 2,280,040 for a 3% loss.
Wow.
Wow.
How's that happen?
That's the lowest it's ever been.
I've never seen it that low.
Did you guys do something?
We cheated.
Okay.
The least I've seen it in the past, I remember, was like in the teens, 16, 18, something like that.
Wow.
This is unusual. I realize that we fixed one great big leak, but I'm cautiously optimistic, waiting for the next month's numbers to see where we fall. Because that is a big difference, and I like it.
Yeah.
But if you look at the amount sold, that is basically about the amount we usually sell. So indeed, if we pump that much, and the wells seem to agree with that, and how much they pump, then it's a happy number
For the month of March.
for the month of March.
So we haven't started watering greenways or anything like that?
No, so that helps with getting an accurate number because the watering system is not metered.
Start the pool and we'll ruin that.
But once we start filling the pool, that'll flush it down the drain. Literally flush it down the drain. All right. On to, well, we don't have anybody here from the fire department. Tony had hoped he'd be here. So I don't have any, I will say that Joel and I met with Aaron and Tony on Friday looking at getting back going on their project as far as their addition down there. And so that will be starting back up, getting that dried in probably in the next, I don't know, 2-3 weeks, I would imagine. Tony's pretty happy and it'll be a good thing to get that rolling again. It's on the last phase of it that is under that contract anyway. But that's all I know about the fire department at this point. Okay, police department. We have calls for service 41, arrests made 2, criminal and traffic citations written and warnings 104, citizens contacts 13, business bar checks 117, residence checks 0, other agency assists 17, reserve FT officer training hours 28, paid grant hours 7. That is that. All right, Public Works Department. You're on, Sam. What else you got to give to that I didn't hit?
I think that's about it. Continue to work on equipment, getting it ready for the season. Just got the mowers into the shop, got them all changed, all the oils and fluids, and looking at buildings and what we're gonna need to do. There's quite a few buildings, unfortunately, in need of just some upkeep, some maintenance, stains and some painting. So we're kind of starting to look at that. Filling potholes. We're gonna start using a new mix here. I'll probably go down tomorrow or Wednesday and pick it up in Corvallis. And there's a gentleman that can give us some. It's gonna be quite a bit cheaper material. We're gonna give it a shot. It's got the same oil base in it, but it's a little bigger aggregate. So we're a little optimistic, let's say, for this point. The county's currently using it, and they have good luck with it. So we're gonna give that a shot. But we're definitely working on potholes. So did get with our ARPA funds, in case anybody did or didn't know, there was a grant that we received and we ended up getting a floating dock for out at the lagoons. Makes it a lot safer to get in and out of the lagoons, to work on the aerators. And there's a new winch going out in there probably in the next 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. And that's probably about it right now.
Sam has been a real bright spot in the Public Works Department. He has had the wherewithal during the course of the winter, went through and serviced machinery, vehicles and stuff that have been falling through the cracks for quite a long time, and actually troubleshooting. He fixed quite a repair on the Mini that saved us a downtime probably of 2 to 3 weeks, along with several $1,000s. Recently, he picked up on a problem with the loader that maybe the fan will go through the radiator tomorrow. Maybe it'll go through there in 6 months. We don't know, but it's got some play in there, as does the water pump. And just by paying attention, he picked up on that. And so, unfortunately, the parts are like $2,500 because they are indicative to that machine from Germany. You know, the water pump was what, $1,500? That's nuts. Anyway, but Sam can do that himself in a day or less. So basically, we could get a mobile mechanic here to do it, which would be roughly $125 an hour. So It would cost us a pretty good chunk of change. It'd take them probably at least 4 to 5 hours to do it. But we have been blessed to have somebody looking out for us in equipment. And also on the public works side, we have been really looking to put some cameras up. I forgot to put that on the mayor's report, but we're looking at 4 cameras for down around the shop to make sure that we can see what's going on down there and keep an eye on the equipment and everything else. We've also been trying to figure out a way, because there's people that are bragging about getting free water down there. And that doesn't look good when we're charging everybody in town for water and we're looking at raising the rates. And people say, well, I just go down there and get it for free. They're supposed to be paying, but people come the dead of night or whatever. We're trying to figure out a dynamic where we can regulate that, whether it's shut it off at night and make them come in, or have it shut off to where they have to come in and then somebody can open it up for them. There's been talk about putting on a card pay system. We don't know what the real answer is, but we're trying to come up with something that will work. Not necessarily so much for the money, but for the public to know that we are actually paying attention and making sure that not only they're paying, but anybody else that wants to come and get water from the town. All right. Library, and Nikki's not here either, is she? Kind of surprised at that. Usually she's here. No unfinished business. All right, down to town property. It's amazing that TNEP represents somebody that is interested in property, but in the last month, I've had 2 other people come forward and say they're interested in buying that property. So the question will be, is the council wanting to put the property back on the market?
This is the property at the end of Helter Line.
Yes.
So are they asking all or part or
What?
the whole thing or part of it, or what are they?
Well, I think Tina's client was looking at everything that we had listed before. The other 2 people that came in and were asking about it, they were basically looking at the same thing.
How much land is it?
Was it down to like 26 acres or something like that?
And where the location is where?
It's right down on the river. It's at the end of Helter Lane out here and off to the right, where all lagoons are actually to the right. It's not, the lagoons aren't part of it because that's where our discharge is, but then we have property that goes along the river there. It used to be over 40 acres.
Yeah, it was 44, I think, in 82 at the first survey. And then it's in what's called floodway, which Mary Hillwell, whom I loved, worked with, she and I learned a lot on that piece of property because FEMA has it as floodplain, but there was a study that the county did, the HKM study that calls it floodway. And floodway means it's not just, if anybody remembers the Reynolds house that floated off into the sunset.
I remember.
Yeah, I do too.
You're right across the river.
Yeah, I didn't realize that floodway is basically land that's going to leave at some point and is slowly leaving every year. So it was, I think, 44 acres, I think in 82, and they had it resurveyed in 23 when y'all had it listed before, and it is 27 now, so it's lost that much land.
It's gained a little bit back since 23 because the river's going away, but it's all beachfront.
Oh, so you think there's been some accretion?
A little bit.
Yeah, interesting. Well, so it's called floodway, so there are only certain things you can do in the floodway. And Mary had she and I met with planner, flood administrator at the time, who was Catherine Madrone, but she gave us a letter saying kind of what you could and couldn't do on it, which wasn't a lot. I was surprised, which was attached to that offer. So that presented some issues, and we didn't realize all that. We learned that during the course of that. And I checked with the new planner, Flood, Chris, and he agreed with her on those things. So, and is still, the county had adopted that HKM, which is more strict on the floodway than floodplain. and he agreed with that, so. It makes it a piece that's beautiful, but perhaps not that usable.
Basically, it could be used kind of as a park. It can't be used year-round. It's very nice in the summer after the high water or whatever. Be a great place for people to recreate, but there are stipulations.
And those are attached to, I didn't know who all was familiar with it.
I don't think Lyle or Bonnie are very familiar because they're new. The rest of the council has been around for a while.
Okay.
So,
Go ahead.
I was, I'm not sure why we put that up for sale,
I don't remember.
whatever it was 4 years ago, or, but just having, it is a beautiful piece of property, it's, river access. In the form of a motion, I would move that, and there could be discussion, but I would move that we are not compelled to sell it and that we keep it. It's an asset for the people of Plains, and I think down the road it might make a really good park or see what we can do with it, but rather than put it on the market and get a bunch of questions on it, we can certainly always sell it, we can't necessarily get it back. So I would move that we take it off the market and keep it as an asset for the town. I don't think it's gonna go down in value unless it goes down the river.
And it's not presently on the market, is it?
No.
Okay.
So we would need a second, then we can have some discussion if you guys want.
I'll second.
Okay. Moved and seconded. Now we have time for discussion if you guys want to
So,
discuss.
I'm sorry, do you mind if I ask you a question? So you said you have a couple of people who are interested if,
No,
I
she,
have the one
okay, so
that made the offer.
I've had two people come in here
Oh.
and inquire. They would, one would like it, have it for waterfowl hunting, and another one, I don't remember what John wanted it for, but he wanted it. Him and a buddy wanted to buy it for
that's what I was gonna
Camping.
ask, what do they wanna do with it?
Yeah.
recreating. It's
My client wasn't adjacent, so she lives adjacent,
Oh,
so it makes sense with hers.
right, okay, I was just curious, thank you.
any other discussion?
The last time, we took the bids and it was really contentious. Last sale effort. I don't know if any of those folks are gonna be involved in it or not. I kinda feel like Joel, it did not work out well first time around. Secondly, we don't have to do anything. And thirdly, there's really a lot of restrictions on what you can do there. As far as even making a road or a access point. You can't just fill in low spots and make it nice and easy to get in and around. So floodplain is really a very expensive gamble, it can be.
True, yeah.
So I don't see any real reason or any real gain for the town at this point to put it out there.
Is there an easement on that, or is it fed right from Helterland Lane?
No, there's an easement.
There's an easement.
Even though the property owners there disagreed with it and fought it, there's
That's
still
right.
there's still an easement there.
Okay. That's why I asked that question.
Yeah, there's still an easement there. It's noticed everywhere. It's completely legal, but they did not want to recognize that.
I think it wasn't so much that there wasn't an easement, it was what you, like you're saying, what you'd have to do to meet the permits and things to actually put a road there because of all of the,
Oh, they didn't even want us walking on it, our easement.
that doesn't.
Yeah, Mary Jane and I got called on the carpet in a meeting in here,
Oh,
and it was ugly.
well, I'm not privy to any of that.
Yeah, it was
I
ugly.
missed all that.
They had us on camera walking out of there on our easement.
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
How dare us? Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Water under the bridge per se, but
sorry, I didn't know that. I'm new to this.
any other thoughts?
Do you want a voice?
Yeah, I'll take a a voice vote on that.
Joel,
Yes.
Bonnie,
Yes.
John Dossett,
Yep.
Chad,
Yes.
John S.,
Yes.
Lyle.
Yes.
Well, it's been unanimous that I guess it's not gonna be for sale right now at this point anyway. Maybe sorry to you, Tina, because obviously you've done some legwork on that, but it is what it is.
Okay,
It was a crapshoot.
well, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. All right, uniform application support. Now you have that in your packet, and that came from Sherry Johnson, the engineer. That is pertaining to the project of looking at extending the sewer line down Clayton to Kruger. And so that is what the engineering is going to cost for doing that project, getting that ready to see what it all looks like. We've got a couple different grants that are possibly gonna be, that would apply to that, hoping in May that we could probably get some of that money. The problem's gonna be in the whole big picture is that there's no more, you don't get money to pay for everything. So no matter what, we'll get money, or we should get money, but it's not gonna cover all of it. So we'd probably be looking at a little bit of a loan to cover it through rural water or whatever else, be a low interest loan. But the big thing is if we are going to look at growing and catching those people that are on the fringe, we have to have the capability to extend services. And if you're talking about the sewer there, we have the next property past where it ends has a failing sewer system. He has to pay $26,000 to get a new one in there. He would like to get on city sewer. The main has to move. We've got a lot of property between there and Kruger that is gonna be developed here in the next several years, that if we have services there, they'll go on to it. If we don't, they will be forced to put in more septic systems, which really the state doesn't want, we don't want. We wanna be able to get them on a system that we have that is not going down towards the aquifer. So that would be a matter of, do we move forward and look at what the big picture shows us? I know, like I said, I had talked to Pat Rummel, and he sent a letter in to go along with it to the funding agencies, as well as the Booths did also, because they have the property at the end. They have the small house with a failing sewer. They have the threeplex there, which has a 25-year-old sewer. They have the property right before that they want to get in there and put some kind of a complex in, and they would like to have sewer there also. So, and in between the two, you have Benny Coast property, which he's almost 90 years old, and I realize he doesn't want to get rid of his property, but one of these days he's just not going to be with us, and his kids are going to want to sell that, and they'll want to develop it. And it is quite a lot of area to be developed that would be nice to have services to. We're already going to have the water there available because we have the new well in, and we're connecting that system up. The sewer is just the catch.
Is there any, in this or proposal or looking forward to going across Kruger to get some,
Well, there's no
Sewer,
thought
yes.
at this point making that jump because, no matter how you look at it, getting to Kruger, if we chose to go right down the road, instead of moving like we would do, is move that sewer line over to the right of way on this side, which is where the people would access it, would be probably right around $9 million. 300,000 of that, supposedly, this is just an estimate, is in road repair. So we could eliminate a third of it just potentially by not going down the middle of the road.
so we're gonna be going down the hillside of,
Well, no, the sewers,
The northeast side.
well, we wanna bring it over and go down the south side, southwest side. Cause that's the side where we'd be delivering services, and it would just make more sense, because if it was on the other side, everybody that's gonna be coming on, we would have to go through the road anyway. That's what made the most sense, talking to Sherry.
the water already does that, doesn't it?
Yes.
It already comes
Yes.
from that side. So, yeah. It's gonna
It makes
cost-
sense. You know, I don't know, it's a big chunk. We don't know what it's gonna look like as far as what we get in grants, and we'll have to revisit that to see what is left over and what we would have to potentially look at to get low interest loan through rural development, rural water, whatever, and see where that takes us.
You talking the whole length of Kruger Street?
The whole length to get to Kruger down Clayton. Because it's another big chunk, like John was alluding to. You jump across to the power company, you have that hill you drop down past Kruger, and you're gonna need to have a lift station, and a lift station is a lot of money. So that would just have to be another project unto itself, which you have to have a lift station, but then that opens it up if they're gonna develop out there in the fields. Which is necessary too, but we still have to get to Kruger.
So can you clarify to me, part of, we're hoping to find some grant money for the 10,000?
That's what we're looking.
11,000.
Well, we're hoping to find grant money to help with projects, period.
Right.
I'm not real sure as far as what that looks like and how much there is in a grant to pay for the engineering part of it.
Yeah,
The waters are a little bit murkier there.
I mean, the idea is it puts us in the pipeline for when these other projects are necessary, or when we're ready for, or when there's grants that are available for the tank or for the water system. We already have the PER, we're ready to jump right into that. That's the upside of this, as I understand.
And then here's another caveat in the whole situation is that this is the last year they were gonna offer the matching $1 million.
Right.
So the first $1 million you could get forgiven. After this, it's good. They say it sounds like it's gonna be gone.
It feels like a little bit of a gamble, but to my way of thinking, probably a good gamble because of that. I just don't ever like to see the town, I don't like loans at all. Yeah.
Well, if we're gonna work on the infrastructure, that is what we're faced with. We were blessed with the wastewater treatment plant because we tried for years to get a wastewater treatment plant as the river was eroding the banks over there to no avail. And it was finally when it was really threatened and we had, I don't remember how many feet of pipe sticking out in the river, that it was an emergency thing and they gave us whatever it was, $6 million to put in a new wastewater treatment plant. But before that, it was a hard sell.
Is there an estimated timeline for development of that area?
That's a good question too. That's a little bit unknown at this point. The first step is gonna be going through the grant process to see if we're gonna qualify for any of these grants. And if we don't qualify for grants, we don't really have a leg to stand on. But the big hump is qualifying for that $1 million forgiveness because that gives you a huge leg to get started.
And the only way we can go through that process is to do this.
Yes.
Are
That
there
takes,
any, sorry, go ahead.
The rate increase, is that something that will make us more attractive to qualify?
possibly yes. I would imagine because they look at that kind of stuff.
Just shows that we're being diligent.
Diligent,
being in
yes,
compliance,
yes.
in compliance. Are there any RFPs that we know of that have been advertised, or are we just gonna start?
There's nothing been looked at for advertising yet. It's just a matter of trying to qualify and then that process will start. Were you gonna say something, Lyle?
No.
Okay.
Just thinking. gears moving.
So do we need a motion to
We would need a motion to accept that, yes, please.
accept this proposal and, move forward with engineering estimate?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'll make that motion that we accept this, proposal to do this engineering study as presented.
And if we have a second,
I'll second.
and any more discussion, since we've already had a lot of discussion already. Anyway, but we would want to do a polling on that too, please.
Chris,
Yes,
if I may say something, I heard you jump into the south side of that road, which would be ideal for the hookups. The only caveat there is to watch out, we have to be a minimum of 10 feet away from our water line.
or so many feet up and down though.
And a foot, at least, the water line has to be a foot tall.
It has to be 10 feet this way,
Correct,
but it can be closer than that if it's
if it is,
6 feet this way or that. Yeah,
but minimum's 10 if it's a foot higher, so we just gotta watch those requirements.
thank you.
Are we good? John Sheridan,
Yes,
Joel,
Yes.
John Dossett,
Yep.
Chad,
Yes.
Bonnie,
Yes.
and Lyle.
Yes.
All right, so we can move forward in that realm. The next thing I have is the trap club, and the only reason that I put that on there is because there's been a lot of questions around town and the area about wondering if they're supposed to be paying dues to the trap club and wondering why that's going on for the last several years. I'm surprised since it's on the agenda that nobody from the trap club's here, but we did have that looked at, I guess, last year by our attorney, that found a couple things that they needed to address in the agreement. The agreement we've had has been since 2002. It's a 30-year agreement that basically requires the trap club to carry insurance that covers the town, and that is kind of the big stickler. And so our new attorney looked at that, and he is drafting a letter for the trap club on his findings. So I would imagine I'll be expecting that to come in probably in the next week, if I was to guess.
They have to cover the insurance and they have to provide the rifle range.
Yes. Yeah, so here's a little bit of background, and Chad knows it because he's filled me in on a lot of it. But the Hicks family, who donated all that land to the town
The golf course and the rifle range.
and the rifle range trap club area, they donated that to the town for people in the area for recreational purposes for people to enjoy it. The town in 2002 leased the area up there to the trap club for free. Not charging them anything, just let them have the lease to the area. The only caveat was, for the most part, was you will make sure and maintain the rifle range and let people use it. So they got this for free as long as they do this. Now, here in the last few years, they've decided that their insurance is too expensive and they have different things, and they want to start charging people to go out there, and that's created a little bit of a dynamic, and then they want to redo the agreement. And basically, I'll let you know, so far the attorney has found that the problem with their insurance is that they have the wrong insurance. It doesn't cover the town. It does not cover situations like what they have. And basically the agreement is they will have insurance that will cover the town, and they just need to do it. And I would imagine that's what he's going to be bringing forth. That'd be my guess. But that's just part of his findings. Anyway. So, any questions on that? So it's not really an action item. I could have put that in the mayor's report too. But it's enough just to get it out there so that people can know that we are looking into this, because there's been a lot of questions. Nope, okay. All right. Resolution 26-2, what everybody's been waiting for. That would be the next resolution after the snafu that we had this last month, that we had to cancel the meeting on the 31st. As far as the public information meeting, we had a little bit of a snafu there where we had 2 different times out there. And Chad called me, and I guess I should have followed up and got a hold of John, because he was already at the senior center, but it didn't happen, so it's neither here nor there. And so he said, if there's a problem or confusion, maybe we should just cancel it and live to fight another day. Whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent, the attorney felt it was the right call to make, because if there was any confusion, the town could catch a lot of grief over it. So even though that in the end, what it does is it creates another month of doing this, about $1,000 worth of dollars, headaches by our office staff, because they're having fun redoing everything. But that was 26-1, so we're moving on to 26-2, which, as long as we approve that today, that will move forward. And so I would imagine everybody read 26-1, 26-2 pretty much looks exactly the same, just with different numbers.
I believe the resolution was with intent to raise the water rates as they were on that.
Yes.
So I would move that we vote in resolution 26-2.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Do we have discussion?
Do we have a date for a public hearing?
27th. Sorry about that.
And that's gonna be at the senior center.
Huh?
At the senior center.
Correct. At 6:30, we decided to get away from the 6-7 thing and just go 6:30. So if there's a 30 there, you go, well, it can't be 7:30, it's too late. 5:30 is too early, so 6:30 is the sweet spot.
Perfect.
So we went 6:30.
27. I'm sorry.
27,
So
yes.
Monday the 27th.
Yes. So once again, that'll be the Monday before our next council meeting. So as long as everything goes smoothly, we get all the notifications out, we have that meeting there, and then we will meet to approve everything on our council meeting after that.
So to confirm that this vote would just be to bring it up, it's not to actually implement.
This is a vote to say that we're gonna go forward with, once again, just like we did last month, Lyle, that we are gonna go through the process. And then that, like I said, we send out a notice to every ratepayer here in town for the second time,
Which was mailed today.
which was mailed today, because there was no reason why the council would say, no, let's not do that now, because we're kind of in a corner. But that has to be done, it has to be noticed in the paper 3 weeks in a row, which of course isn't cheap either, but it is necessary because you want the public to be well informed and know what is going on. You don't want to appear that you're trying to do something slippery or under the cover of darkness. That's basically the reason we canceled the last meeting, because we didn't want to have an appearance that we were hiding something. You want to make sure that you're on the up and up.
But, and then confirm that the actual vote to implement would be May 4th.
Correct.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I would imagine we will have a polling on this too?
Okay. Joel,
Yes.
Bonnie,
Yes.
John Dossett,
Yeah.
Chad,
Yes.
John Sheridan,
Yes.
Lyle.
Yes.
And once again, it's not a thing where we want to raise the rates, because none of us want to pay them. But the thing is that it's necessary because we've been arbitrarily behind since 2018, as it's grown to be a bigger problem. And we're well under Thompson Falls is too.
Pretty spendy, we got all sorts of unhappiness in our neighborhood.
Well, we've seen it in the paper, I saw it on the news too, and I thought, whoa, that's horrible.
Keep it up there.
So they keep it up there.
I'm glad we're much friendlier down here.
This is a pretty calm meeting, I haven't been thrown out of this one.
Okay, so now we move down to committee reports, administrative committee. Catherine,
We kind of had a meeting. I handed out some paperwork describing, what a budget is, why we have to make a budget. Just kind of a preliminary kind of thing, and our next meeting is this Thursday at 9 a.m.
so Thursday morning, 9:00. No OB appointments that day, lad. Just giving you a hard time.
It was a one-off too, because they're usually Fridays.
It happens. Public Works Committee.
We had 2 meetings last month. One was primarily to discuss accounts and resolve some problems there. Minutes are in the packet, and then we also discussed the rates. The question was, we had a special meeting just to affirm that the diameter lines are all, the rate is consistent, or what would be the word? There's a fancy word. Commensurate, I don't know, with all of the cost will go up commensurate with the size of the line. Everybody gets, all God's children get a raise on their rates, so.
And see, there was a little bit of confusion there, and that's why I was a little confused.
Right.
Because the one thing that was put before us basically had some of those lines paying double. And then when we were looking at the one that we had in front of us, and John Lee figured out that, oh, it's only 35%. How did I get double? And then she pointed out here just the other day, said, this is why, Chris, because this here was put out from somewhere, and it showed basically some of those rates went up double on that. It wasn't our bracketing. So I was thankful that I wasn't losing my head, going off the deep end or anything. They were actually pretty much double. 35 was copacetic all the way through now. Okay.
So while we're in Public Works, Joel and I had talked last week about maybe finding a different way to discuss our delinquent accounts. Maybe not in an open meeting.
I know you guys use numbers.
Yeah, we used
do,
to.
but inevitably the address is mentioned, or
Oh.
the name, or oftentimes people come to the meeting
That's
to talk
unfortunate.
about their bill, and I just think that maybe we can find a better way to do that kind of protects our customers.
That might be a call to the League of Cities and Towns and see if we're allowed to, since it's dealing with people, if we could keep that private. Because I don't think they necessarily want their accounts discussed. That's maybe a call.
You think the city of leagues and towns, the cities and towns would be
Yeah, they would know. If we can make that a private meeting, maybe at the end of.
The end or right at the beginning, either or, just.
Well, it could just be a decision on categorizing things a certain way.
Yeah, the only reason we do it is in the sake of transparency.
Right.
But it seems like, since that's personal information, that should be protected, so I'll look into that. If you all are okay with that.
Thank you, Joe. You're a good man.
Kathy, would you remind me to look into that?
Way to go, Catherine.
Sure, Joel.
Just to remind him that he's not the mayor anymore.
You're not the boss of me anymore.
Never was.
He doesn't even eat dog biscuits for you
He
either.
knows.
Anyway, moving on. Parks and Rec Committee. Why is Becky not here?
Maybe she's with Vicky.
Well, she was here. Anyway,
Does anybody know when their next meeting is? Is it
Wednesday.
this Wednesday?
This Wednesday, 7 o'clock, be there, it's where.
I thought it was 6.
Huh?
Parks and Rec one, I thought it was at 6.
I think it is 6.
Oh, it is 6, you're right, not 7.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
Here we go.
I'm going to have.
And it all starts here.
Let's
We
go
know,
6:30.
we know where to find the figure, yeah, 6:30. No, you're right, it is 6. And then we have the pool meeting at 5:30 on Thursday.
Say that again.
The pool meeting is here at 5:30 on Thursday. Parks and Rec is here at 6 o'clock Wednesday. I'm not sure what's on their agenda. I don't have the notes from the last meeting they had, so.
You should be in there.
Oh, John has those, you're here, that's right, he's on that committee, what am I thinking?
The minutes are in there.
So, March 4th, we discussed 3 items. The playground set, it's apparently coming,
Whatever.
but I haven't seen it yet. Horses on the Greenway. This is the Parks and Rec, right? And so there's, I believe there's 2 horses ordered. We hope to get them underground pretty quick, as soon as we get them. And I know they're being worked on, sanded back and whatever they do to it. So that'll be good to see in the ground. And the Splash and Dash, which is coming up in, I believe, is August.
August 1st, was it, or
Yeah.
something like that? It's on, I think, the
It's on the front door.
first Saturday,
I think so.
yeah.
Anyway, that should be great to look forward to. And there's going to be a lot of vendors, a lot of food, a lot of games, lots of fun.
Any stick games?
Hmm?
No stick games, or
I don't know.
find out. Thanks, John. All right, Emily, you're up.
I do have a question. So I'm on the committee for Plains Day this year, and we were wondering if we could put the Plains Day banners on the Welcome to Plains signs on each end of town.
Which signs would those be, Emily?
The ones like Welcome to Plains, thank you for coming on each end. The one on the corner of 28, and then the one near like Ace's Coffee and the Butcher's Nook. If that would be something possible. And they accept me.
Well, we can throw that out there. Do we need to have that on an agenda for you guys? We have to have it on an agenda for them to discuss it or answer to it.
Okay.
I can't just arbitrarily make that call myself. Do we want to see that on the May's agenda, which is well ahead of Plains Day?
For Public Works.
Huh?
For which?
For putting the Plains Day placard up on the Welcome to Plains sign
For a committee or for the whole council?
for the whole council. Because, you know, I just think that the council probably should weigh in on that and give the okay. I don't think the ad hoc committee or anybody has the power to do that. The mayor doesn't have the power to do it. Council should probably make that decision and say, yeah, we agree. But we cannot make a decision because it's not on the agenda.
Can I ask a question? Is this a standalone sign right next to, or what?
It's gonna be the banners you guys have seen every year that they usually put on the Greenway. So we're proposing the idea of putting one on each end of town. We're also in talks with Northwestern Energy to possibly put them where the season's greetings ones are for Christmas, to really promote Plains Day this year, to really get a lot more following, just to kind of boost it and really get it out there for all those who travel through who are not from Plains, who may not know about it if they don't see the signs on the Greenway.
Which is a great idea.
That's good.
And then I'm not sure what the new signs are looking like. I know we've been discussing those. Something also that's fun this year, we proposed to Miss Cole, the art teacher at the high school, for all grades to submit artwork. So the committee voted and picked out a design, and we'll be having t-shirts for Plains Day this year. And we couldn't decide on a few others because we love the art. So the 3 runner-ups are going to be on stickers that will be sold. And we're hoping to get together with some other committees and use the funds from Plains Day to just maybe help with some projects around town.
All right. Emily's doing a great job in her, not only Plains Day, but her events type dynamic that they've worked their way into.
And I guess I could ask this here. I'm not sure which committees I have to go to because I have now found that there is a ton in town. As you guys probably all know, in Lakeside, they have those really cool cutout snowmen with all the art. I proposed the idea because I was approached by Steve Everhart that he would donate his art if we can get the wood and the cutouts. So that's been talked to get the businesses involved, and I don't know what things we have to discuss within town to get them just placed throughout the town, which I think would be something really cool to have here. It could be a potential draw.
You know, and I personally don't see a problem with any of that, Emily. I don't see a problem with the banners, or even if we need to make a decision on that, or if it's just something that is just okay to do. So I would leave that up to the council because I'm not really the decision maker there.
Is there enough room underneath the sign to put those banners where you could still read the sign, but maybe put it?
Yeah, it would be
On the
underneath
poles.
the signs. It would not block any wording that is present or any art that is present amongst those signs.
Have you talked to Northwestern already about?
I know, I believe Dennis was reaching out to them. We just haven't heard back yet. So we're just trying to get a hold of them. And the signs that we would be getting, if we do get the go ahead, would be the mesh. So the wind wouldn't affect it, it would go right through it.
I don't see a downside myself.
I would think to talk with Parks and Rec, and then maybe anything that they gave us under their advisement would probably be an easy decision for council.
And the other cool thing, I'm not gonna say this right, but you guys will kind of get the gist. It's the Ford trailer that comes to like fairs and stuff that has all the new Ford trucks and vehicles. They have pulled out of Mineral County and will be coming to Plains Day this year. So we will have that new coolest edition to be part of the car show this year.
That's great. They used to be down here too.
Yeah. So Heidi at Raidmine, it's been wonderful to work with, and it seems like we're gonna get a lot of cool cars this year and have that wonderful edition.
That's exciting. So are you gonna bring up the banners Wednesday night at the meeting?
Yes.
Oh, good girl.
But yeah, we have just kind of the layout. We changed it a little bit this year, just so everybody kind of knows. The greenway is going to be vendor specific. We are going to have porta potties on each end, and the company we're working with has thrown in hand washing stations, which is pretty cool. And then we're going to utilize the dental park to our advantage. And so it comes to a T. On the T end, you'll have the stage, and then we're going to access, instead of dry camping, we're going to use it for handicap parking. As we heard, there was not a lot of access for those with disabilities and or not very, they can't walk very long distances. And then what we're going to do is parallel with the stage, we're going to create a food court. So all food will be together, and there'll be shaded areas for those with little ones or those who can't be in the heat very long. We're going to attempt to set up seating there and have the car show on that dental park area there.
Wow.
And the
Look at all
kids'
this
activities will be in the same corner that they were previously. So, if the parents want to eat, the kids can also, go enjoy the activities, check out the cool cars, and have some live music all at the same time.
Sounds wonderful to me, Emily.
Going good?
Good job. We'd like to have that energy.
Our next meeting is April 15th at 6:30 at the cafe at M's, if anybody would like to attend. And that's just pretty much finalizations. April 15th at
Tax day.
6:30.
6:30.
Everybody's favorite day.
It's gonna be June 6th. Yep.
Thanks, Emily. Is that everything you have? That's a lot.
That's kind of the majority of it. There's been just some fun little things. The Ryans will be back this year.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. And so Plains Day essentially will be from like 10 a.m. We're not having the vendors open at 8. We sent out a questionnaire to all previous vendors, and then there wasn't much before the parade. So we're requiring that they set up before 10. And we're also having them designated parking spots away from Highway 200 to open up parking for all the visitors we're going to have as well.
Good.
Our meetings have not lasted less than like 2 hours, so there's a lot.
You guys are doing a lot of heavy lifting
We're
there.
really excited, so if you guys want to come to that and any input, we really appreciate it.
Thanks, Emily.
Yeah.
Tax day at, you said 6:30?
Yes. Is it tax day? I think I already did mine.
Thanks, Emily.
Of course.
All right. Planning board. John, you're the only one here on the planning board.
Should be minutes in here if there is.
Should be some minutes in there.
Yeah, there was one. Board meeting of March
I
25th.
think, if I remember right, we talked about, annexation down here. the granary there, the old granary, is Mr. Sainer's place there. And we walked down there and walked around before the meeting, 6:30 I think it was. And discussed it and came back, and I think we're pretty happy with the way it was. He wanted to do it. Originally it was gonna be a little convoluted, put it that way, and then now it's been made a lot easier when coming on the other side of his property instead of down on that street it was talking about originally. So that got passed, we passed that.
And the only unfortunate part about the whole scenario is with all this stuff with 26.1, 26.2, we really would have been good to have this on the agenda for tonight, because planning board has passed that on to the council to vote on it. It's not on the agenda, so we can't vote for it, but now we're gonna have to have a special meeting just for that, to pass what the planning board has approved. And it's basically, the Sainers bought a chunk from Hugh behind him. He wants to annex that on to his property and put a pad for his fifth wheel and a shop back there. And it's just a matter of getting that, because it is in the county. We still have to talk to the county and say, you know, we want this into the city limits. And then it's gonna take a little while, but then he's gonna want services there, water and sewer, and that's what John was referring to, is the water is a little convoluted because the footprint for the granary takes up most everything. In the end, they looked at the driveway that goes up by Joe Baches and the duplex in the back. Come to find out that duplex is owned by a group out of California, and it was going to be a lengthy process, probably quite expensive, to get them to give an easement up to there to get the water up and around to the back. The Sainers decided that rather than doing that, they would rather, and it's going to be a lot easier for the town, easier for them, is go on the edge of their property, which they don't have a lot of room on basically the northern side, and take the water line back through there and then hook up. And at the same time, the town will require them to leave us an easement, so if they ever decide to sell that property separately, then we will have access, and the people that buy it will have access to that water line, because it's not so much for the town, but it's for the people that would potentially buy that, because they'll still be liable from our hookup there all the way back. The sewer is a little less convoluted because the sewer actually crosses that property on the backside. So, right, Sam? You were there.
That's correct.
Okay. Anyway, so we will be having a special meeting. You know, we can look at that. We don't have to have it at night. It'll be a short meeting. There'll only be one thing on the agenda. That'll be it. We'll just have to get the paperwork together, set the meeting, and figure out what works out the best for the majority to get that done and get the process, because it's still a process. Once the council passes that, it's kind of like what we're going through with the raising the rates. Within 30 to 60 days, we need to have a meeting where we have people come give input. And then after that's over, then the council can approve it.
What is the meeting set for the public hearing on the 22nd of April? Is that?
22nd of April, that is for the growth policy, which is coming up. But that's a planning board meeting, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. That's a public hearing, basically. And, that's for the whole council, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's actually a council meeting. It's a public hearing.
And that's the 22nd?
Yeah, we need to make sure everybody understands that too. It's a public hearing for people to come and give input on what the planning board has been going through for the new growth policy. And the growth policy is something that the town goes through every 5 years.
25th?
22nd.
What time is that, do you know? Doesn't say a time.
Doesn't say time.
It doesn't have a time. 7.
Says, no, that was called at 7, so I would imagine if we're looking at the public hearing dates, more than likely at 7. And if it's any different than that, then we can get the word out, but I do believe April 22nd at 7 o'clock.
I have it for 6:30, so but that doesn't mean anything.
Well, the one on the 27th is for 6:30.
You'll be early.
Well, this is the 22nd.
Okay, maybe it is 6:30.
We should find out though.
Well, we
We'll
should
find out
find
from, we'll find out from John Lee tomorrow.
Preferably 4 days before instead of 4 hours.
If
before.
John Lee wanted to skip out tonight and sent Garrett in her stead, because he doesn't know any better, we would have that information right here at our fingertips.
So we think at this point it's at 6:30.
I don't know.
but I have it.
I'll
I
have to check
it
with
there.
John Lee.
Well,
I'll get a
let me,
hold
let
of
me
him.
look at one of my phones here, because I'm sure I
Do you
put
have
it
it
in
your
there
phone?
on the calendar. Let's see here.
6:30. That's the day that we have to be in Missoula for that right across from.
The 22nd?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fine.
It's the gym.
That's okay.
Must be Zoom.
She gets down at night.
Oh, yeah.
Mine says planning 22nd is from 7 to 8 p.m.
Well, you're right. Our class in the morning with us.
So we need to nail that down anyway.
You don't realize how bad.
My phone says 7 as far as that's what I put in there.
That must be Zumba.
But yes, Jim.
I had 7.
Okay, Jim's on the planning board too, so he had 7. So anyway,
Well, I'm gonna change it
Okay.
to mine, so. it's-
but anyway, that's
all up again.
what I got off of the notes or whatever it was for the meeting. I put it in right away on my calendar. Whether that means anything or not, we'll find out. All right, police commission. No, they did nothing. Safety committee, no, there was no meetings for the safety committee, that needs to be happening. All right, another opportunity for public comment. On anything that we've covered or not covered yet.
I do
Yes,
have
Sam?
a question about the property, when you were talking about the going out Clayton Street towards Kruger with the sanitary sewer, would that be required then at that point to have those annexed into the city, or are those currently in the city?
Those, I do believe, are not currently, they're not currently in the city.
No.
So I guess what I'm asking is that if they do get those services, they were required to be annexed in the city. What's that procedure? Is it lengthy or pretty easy or?
Well, it's not real lengthy, but you get it out there and you can't force anybody to naturally just change out their services. But if somebody has a septic fail, they have to hook up. If they want new services, they have to hook up. I don't know what all the ins and outs, legalities are, but I'll find out. The people that are wanting it, that are out there right now, are wanting it. And if you have them there and they subdivide any of that property, they'll have to hook up. And I would imagine we'll be going through a process once we get that out there of annexing that section in anyway.
It could just happen as needed, right?
Could, yeah.
As developers.
Well, and there's a process, I mean, it's just like, and I should include this in the mayor's report too, because I turned it over to the attorney. But we have 2 pieces of property over here by the river at the end of Oak that are just small pieces that have like a fifth wheel on them or whatever, it's just they're there for the summer. But for some odd reason, both those places are hooked up to city water and city sewer, but they're in the county. Strange as that is, the numbers that come up all around them are town, but those 2 in particular are showing numbers from basically across the river. So right now we have started the process through the attorney to get those 2 annexed in. Because we don't give services unless you are in town. They're paying for the services, but they're not paying for, taxes to help police and roads and that kind of stuff. Anyway, I probably should have had that on the mayor's report too. All right, anything else? Yes, Garrett?
I just wanted to mention to the council, the beautification committee is having our cleanup day next month on the 16th. So if you're talking with folks or know of anyone who has a project we can help out with to clean up a yard or spruce up things for spring, they can get in contact with us. We're going to be putting out flyers and signs around town as well, like we usually do. I just wanted to get it on your radar. And we also would love your help if you're available that Saturday to volunteer. I think it works really well if you have a project you need help with. We will bring a group to you, and then you can come join us with helping us other people. So.
You know, and I should have thought about you because you're here. I knew that that was going to be coming up next month, and it's good that Sam's sitting here because he hasn't been around for one of those yet. But usually, if Public Works wants to volunteer that day, we have things happening at right in the shop area where they're bringing stuff in. It's a busy day. That committee does wonderful things around town. They do a lot of cleanup. They do a lot of work. Usually we could leverage the county to give us where we can dump things without paying for a lot of things. I got Danny working on that right now to try and do the same thing that they do for Thompson, which usually they always do. But yeah, it's a great thing. But it's been 3 years now, Garrett, or 4 maybe?
I think it's the 3rd year, isn't it?
I've lost track.
I think it's the 3rd year,
Yeah.
yeah.
But it's been great. They started out at once a year in the spring, and then they branched out to once in the spring, once in the fall.
So you work on residential, just?
Yes.
Okay.
They get a list, people.
Yeah, so the plan this year is again to get a dumpster from the county to have here in town that we can just dump stuff in.
That'd be
It
great.
works out well for them and it works really well for us.
The only things,
Leaves and-
no, I think Danny said we're putting a ixnay on free tire
Are
dumping.
they?
Yeah. We've had problems, I think, in the recent past where people decide even if they live out in the county, they're dumping tires off. And that's not really what it's set up to be. But I mean, appliances that you have to pay for, there's different dynamics in furniture that they look at allowing that to be dumped without charging extra. And it's better than have it sitting in somebody's front yard just because they can't afford to take it to the dump.
Or out in the
We don't
woods.
have a way
Yeah.
out in the woods.
Yeah, and we don't like that either.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's a great thing. It's a great thing that group does. And yeah, it's nice to get that word out. If anybody else wants to volunteer to be part of that, they're always welcome.
And do you still have the food truck that comes in?
No, this year we will be doing, spoiler alert, pizza. The food truck has not worked out in the last couple of years.
Okay.
So you'll be making pizza for us?
Pizza will be provided.
The food truck actually,
If I try to-
the food truck now owns the Butcher's Nook, so they're a little bit divided, which doesn't help. But the first couple of years, they just volunteered and fed the crews and everything for
Hot
nothing.
dogs and ice cream and stuff like that.
Matter of fact, during that process, they were actually setting up over here for the farmer's market and giving people free food and ice cream, homemade ice cream. It was wonderful. Just donation. Anyway, that's all I got. I don't want to bloviate anymore. I mean, already kept you here almost an hour and a half. I would take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
It's done.
Meetings are harking back to the